But let me tell you what this test actually looked like, because it probably didn't look like what you expected. It looked like losing things you thought you needed. It looked like relationships ending, careers imploding, identities crumbling. It looked like every external source of security being stripped away until you had no choice but to find out what remained when everything else was gone. It looked like facing your deepest fears, not in some dramatic movie scene, but in quiet moments when you realized you could no longer pretend you were someone you weren't. It looked like choosing truth over comfort, authenticity over approval, presence over performance, over and over again, even when it felt like you were losing everything that mattered. And maybe you did lose things that mattered. Maybe you lost people who couldn't handle your transformation. Maybe you lost versions of yourself that felt safe, but weren't actually serving you. Maybe you lost the luxury of unconsciousness, of being able to sleepwalk through life without taking responsibility for your own experience. But what did you gain? What showed up in the space where all that old stuff used to be? You gained yourself. Not the self you thought you were supposed to be, but the self you actually are when all the pretending stops. You gained access to a kind of knowing that doesn't come from books or teachers or external authorities. You gained the ability to trust your own inner guidance, even when it doesn't make logical sense. You gained something that most people spend their entire lives searching for without ever finding. You gain the recognition that you are not separate from life. You are not a victim of circumstances or a passenger on a journey you didn't choose. You are life expressing itself in human form, consciousness experiencing itself subjectively, love knowing itself through the temporary dance of separation and reunion. This recognition changes everything and nothing simultaneously. Your daily life might look exactly the same from the outside. You still brush your teeth, pay your bills, have conversations, face challenges, but the quality of your presence has fundamentally shifted. You're no longer trying to get somewhere else or become someone else. You're finally here, fully here, maybe for the first time in your life. And that presence, that quality of being fully here without needing anything to be different, that's what passing the final test actually looks like. It's not dramatic, it's not flashy, it's not something you can put on your resume or brag about at parties. It's quiet, it's subtle, it's profound. But here's where it gets really interesting, because passing this test isn't the end of anything. It's actually the beginning. When you pass the final test, something unexpected happens. You stop looking for signs that you've made it, and suddenly signs are everywhere. Not the forced kind of synchronicities that spiritual seekers chase, but the quiet kind that whisper rather than shout. The kind that show up in ordinary moments and make you smile because you finally understand the conversation that's been happening all along.